So never borrow your money to friends. Never lend to your friends any money. And I'll give you the reasons why. It always ends up in tears. Look, if you lend your friends money, you are mixing business and pleasure. You are mixing a personal relationship with a business relationship. When you normally take a loan from the bank, there are safeguards for the bank and there's safeguards for you. So there's a documented agreement for what you are expected and what the bank is expected, or whoever the loan person is who's giving you the loan. When you loan your friends money, then there's no expectation that is clear. It is basically something that you've conjured up in your mind versus reality. When you loan your money to a friend, you're probably doing it out of kindness, out of, oh, this person needs money, and they've come to me to give them the money. They wouldn't ask me if they didn't really need it. But I'll ask you this question. If they really need money, right, and they have nowhere else to go to but you, that means all the risk is on you. Because if they don't have any money, how will they pay you back? Number one. Number two, even if they say that they can pay you back, when are they going to pay you back? What happens if when that time comes, they don't have the money? What is the agreement that you have between yourselves? And let's be honest, most friends don't discuss this when they take out loans with one another. So expectations versus reality. Another reason why you shouldn't loan your friends money is because there is a friendship tax. Friends expect leniency from their friends when they loan money. They don't expect the same outcomes from a bank or a lender. That's why they came to you in the first place. If they really wanted money and wanted to be accountable, they would have gone to the bank. They would have gone and taken out an interest rate or where there's penalties and paid back on time. But no, they came to you for a reason. They came to you for your leniency. They came because they knew it was interest free. They came because they knew that really, if they don't want to pay it back, what's really going to happen? And that's why I always advise not to loan money to friends. It seems harsh, but trust me, it will protect you and it will protect the friendship. If the friendship is not worth protecting by not loaning money, then the friendship isn't worth you loaning the money, right? Makes sense. Also, when you have a loan in between friendships, that you shift the power dynamic. And when you shift the power dynamic, what that means is that the hand of the giver is always above the hand of the lender, right? When you give someone money, they have to take it. And so the person who's giving, in terms of power dynamic, is now above the person who receives. And that just puts a nasty cloud over your friendship that you just don't want. When you borrow from the bank, there's no such thing. It is an agreement, it's a business agreement. But when you lend money to friends, then you are essentially entering a business agreement without safeguards. You're entering a business agreement on personal, unagreed terms. The worst thing that you can do for your money. This leads to a lot of lost friendships. There are quite notable celebrities that this has happened to. Then if you know MC Hammer, you can't touch this. Can't touch it. Anyway, MC Hammer in the 90s, top of his game, earning millions, but he used to lend money to friends. He used to lend sums of money to friends, and unfortunately, nobody returned them. Guess what? Because they thought, he's my friend, he can afford it. And actually, what you are communicating to your friend when you lend them money is that I can afford it. I can afford to lose this money. That's why I'm giving it to you. If you couldn't afford it, you wouldn't give it to me. And that is why you shouldn't lend money to friends. It's not just MC Hammer. Oprah Winfrey has been in that situation. What's this guy? Candle in the Wind guy. He was in that situation too. So I've been in that situation myself. I lent my friend money. It was her wedding. She was getting married. She didn't have enough money. She asked me to lend her money. I thought, oh, okay. I was young. I was silly. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, you can have this money. And I chased her for like 2 years for it. And I was a bad guy for asking for my own money back. And that's what happens because people's expectations and reality they're not the same. And so basically just don't lend money to your friends. Aside from those reasons of, whoever's lending money off you is probably, and this is, don't get me wrong, I understand the reasons why you want to lend money to your friends because they usually message you and, say, oh, it's been difficult, or I've fallen on hard times, or I just need it until this date and I'll pay you back. And, when it comes to large sums of money, usually it just means that, and I'm sorry to say this, it just means that they're not very accountable or responsible with their money if they're coming to you as a friend to lend them money. Because if they were, why don't they go through the bank? Please, this applies to countries where there are safe banking systems, where the loans are not 30% return. I know that in Nigeria, in the Philippines, in other countries, the interest rates are insane, and the lending nature the lending culture is different. But if you're in the USA, you're in the UK, you're in Europe, you're in Australia, and your friends are asking you for money, large sums of money, I would question, why are they asking me? Do they think I have this money to give for free? You have to ask yourself too, where are they going to get this money to pay you back? If they don't pay you back, how are you going to feel, and how are you going to get that money back? And so these are the reasons why you shouldn't lend your friends money. More reasons why you shouldn't lend your friends money is because you are losing out. Every amount of cash that you have in your friend's hand that is not earning interest, that is not in an ETF, that's not in a low cash ISA, that is not earning money for you, you are losing money because inflation is eating away at that cash. And so every penny with them is an opportunity cost for you. If you've lent somebody £10,000 and then an exciting opportunity comes up, but your friends owes you money and so you can't buy it, or you want to buy a car but you can't quite because your friend still owes you money, that is opportunity cost from you that your friend has robbed from you, and that is selfishness essentially. Now, I don't want to cast aspersions on any of your friends. If you want to lend them, by all means, go ahead. But I'm just giving you the reasons why you shouldn't. Another reason why you shouldn't lend your friends money is because you lose the friendship. Is it worth losing the friendship? Is it? Really? Just money? Why would you lose your friendships over just money? But when you add money into friendship equations, it becomes a lot more than money. It becomes betrayal. It becomes disrespect. It becomes selfishness. It becomes a lot bigger than what it was initially meant to be. And so for that reason, again, don't lend your friends money. So what do you do when your friend asks you to lend them money? Oh, I'm really hard times. I need to buy nappies for my kids, or I just need enough money to cover next month's rent, or whatever the sob story is. You just got to think to yourself, if I lend this money, am I willing to give this same amount of money away? If you aren't willing to give the money to this person, then you're not willing to loan them the money. That is my rule, and that's the principle that I would suggest for you. So, for example, if somebody says, can you lend me £50? I think to myself, can I give you £50? If I can give you £50, yes, I can lend you £50. And I can say there's two ways you can do it, right? One way is you can give it to them and just say, here you go, here's £50. And then they're £50 richer and they can do whatever they want with it. And there's no obligation for them to pay you back. There's no a cloud over the two of you. There's no weirdness because you've just given them the money. I think that's the best way to do it, but I'll give you another option. The reason why I think it's the best way to do it is because it's money that you've given freely. You've done something generous. You've expressed your kindness towards them, and you've given them money, and it solves their problem. It is an amount that you can afford, and you don't feel the loss, quote unquote loss. If you lend them the money, and even though you're able to give it to them and they don't give it back, that still casts a bit of, well, I lent you money and on principle, you actually didn't give it back. So do you really respect me and my money and my time? Do you think I'm really rich that I can just give out money? So that's why I would prefer to give it than to lend it. But if you do lend it, at least it's an amount you can afford, and it can act as a sort of test, like, will they give it back or not? And if they do give it back, maybe you might lend them to them again, an amount that you can afford to give. But if you lend it to them and they don't give it back, then that's it. Your job is done. Also, if your friends ask you for money to lend and you give them money, the next time it's probably going to be a bit harder for them to come and ask you to lend them money again, because then all you would do is give them more money, and then it would just end up like, hopefully your friend has a bit of self-respect and feels like, oh, hang on a second, I'm just always asking my friend for money. I'm just always begging for money. And so hopefully they'd either stop, or you continue to just give what you can give. Another thing that you can do is that instead of lending them money, especially when they ask for large amounts. So if they ask you for a large amount of money, you can say to them, look, I don't have the £1,000, £10,000 that you're asking me for, but I can give you £2,000. And so in that way, you're still helping them out, but you're not putting yourself at risk. Because if you lend somebody money informally, 100% of the risk is on you. And that is not fair. It's not equal. It's not equitable. And it means that there is a strain on the relationship on your side. And you don't want that. So reduce the amount to whatever it is that you can lend them to a sizable amount, and take it from there. Like I said, don't be like Sylvester Stallone, who lent Richard Gere money and they're not friends till today. Don't be like MC Hammer, who lost a bunch of friends from loaning them money. Be sensible with your cash. Use it, be generous, give to people, but don't put yourselves in tricky situations by entering into business contracts on a personal basis, because that's what you're doing when you lend money. Hope that makes sense, and I hope you're smart with your money. Catch me on the next video. I've also got a retirement calculator attached to this video. It's in the description if you want to work out how much you need to save for your retirement. And when you do that and you find your freedom number of how much money you need to retire, you'll also think twice about lending out your money, because you'll think, hang on a second, this could go towards my retirement fund. This could compound and give me X amount of money. Why am I just giving it away to my friend who probably won't pay it back? Anyway, that end of my video. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share this with someone. If anyone asks you to lend them money, you can send them this video. I don't know, whatever works for you. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Dr. Nix, and I speak about money. I speak about careers. I speak about life development and many other things. So subscribe to my channel, share this with someone who you think might like it, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.